One of the greatest eras in African American history was during the 1920s in a period known as the Harlem Renaissance. This period in time allowed African Americans to express their ideas more freely and take more advantage of racial equality and prosperity. Their impact on the Roaring Twenties, mainly due to the introduction and acceptance of black music, art, literature, and culture by white Americans, made this a turning point for blacks in America. The Harlem Renaissance occurred during the 1920s between World War I and the Great Depression. This was a significant time for African American advancement because it was between two disastrous events in American history. But it was within a time where a large part of America felt prosperous and free, and they were rebellious against traditional morals and values. During this period of time, around 85% of African Americans migrated from the South to the North. Many of them wanted to escape the atrocities against blacks committed by the whites in the southern states. In the South, blacks were oppressed to the point where they had very little freedom of speech, no economic power, and no hope for a better future. Despite their great escape to the North, they were still faced with Jim Crow laws that had migrated to the North by their side. These included racial segregation, oppression, limited free speech, limited job opportunities, wages, and lack of respect. Because African Americans were denied housing in white neighborhoods, many of them in New York ended up in a segregated community known as Harlem. Living in Harlem had its ups and downs. These people were allowed relatively more freedom than their southern origins. During the Harlem Renaissance, blacks embraced their newfound freedom. They were eager to express their pent-up emotions. They began to verbalize how they were feeling and what they were going through as African Americans in many ways. For the first time in American history, African Americans began to have better opportunities to express themselves. They became well-known poets, dancers, singers, and musicians. Artists such as Langston Hughes, a famous poet, Zora Neale Hurston, a famous author, Bessie Smith, a famous blues singer, and Louis Armstrong, a famous jazz musician, helped create a new image for the African American around the country. For the first time ever, whites in America began to listen to the voices of these African American artists and got a little glimpse of the beautiful struggles of African Americans. For example, the blues, which became a well-known outlet for expression by African American musicians, told the story of the black experience and really immersed whites into the black world and origin through their powerful lyrics and music. The Harlem Renaissance was also known as the New Negro Movement because of the feelings of black pride and efforts made to achieve their goals of equal rights. People such as James Weldon Johnson, a writer and early leader of the NAACP, helped begin the fight for civil rights for blacks. As a result of their interest in the work of African Americans, whites in New York provided a financial support that was needed to help the African Americans distribute their work and entertainment across America. When other blacks learned of the opportunities and financial support they could receive from whites in New York, talented, hopeful artists flocked to Harlem. The Harlem Renaissance was a golden age for African Americans in the United States. Opportunities to freely express themselves were all around. The efforts to teach others about their culture was accepted. It was like the Black Roaring 20s. Although blacks achieved somewhat better status in America because of their artistic and literary talents, they still did not achieve true racial equality at this time. Their biggest impact of the Harlem Renaissance for African Americans was Black pride.